But now that we've created a very clean interior and the interior is done, I'm super excited because there's one more thing left to do, which is getting started on the exterior. So today's video, we are going to be changing a bit on the FRS outside, but before we do that, this right over here is a piece I picked off of Amazon. It had some pretty good reviews on it and it was $89.99, and I know this isn't a modification going on the car, but this is something we're going to be using in hopes of it helping out with the build, just making my life a lot easier. For those of you guys that don't know what this is an electronic ratchet. Instead of having to manually undo the bolts, I'm hoping that this has enough power to do them for me. This is honestly me just being lazy. And yeah, today's job isn't really difficult, but hopefully this makes it a lot easier and less time consuming. In episode 1 and 2, for those of you guys that remember, this car came with aftermarket taillights that we went ahead and swapped out with these OEM taillights. What we didn't know is that the gaskets on the taillights were bad, and over time, those taillights have developed condensation and are now filled with rainwater. Looking at the screen right now, just look how bad this looks. But now it's time to go ahead and add some aftermarket taillights to the build, and you'll be surprised which ones we got. But before we do that, I need the trunk to stay open, and the rear trunk struts on this car are pretty bad. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna quickly swap out those struts, and then hopefully my trunk stays open. Well, this right here doesn't work. Watch this, ready? This right here is the new one. It's almost identical to the old one right over here. This is the OEM one from 2013. It still has the Subaru logo somewhere kind of around it. And then this one looks exactly the same, just looks a lot newer. And this one should actually be working. Now that the struts are done, it is time for the taillights. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be swapping the taillights out on this car onto this car right over here. These are the VLAN sequential taillights. I've had these on the car for quite some time now, and they look very good, and I think it's going to look really good on this build as well. So we're going to transfer these and hopefully the brake light I have onto this car right over here, and then I have a different set going onto this car, and I'll explain everything once we get that all done. The taillights we got for the red FRS are just these stock taillights right over here. I picked these up from Marketplace for like $100, and the difference between these and the ones I just took off of this car is those have a lot of water in them. These gaskets right here are perfect, and I'm hoping that these don't have any condensation. And we're gonna run the stock taillights for now, and then I'll tell you guys what the plans are for both the cars. Damn, I haven't seen the FRS with these stock taillights on in almost 5 years. And honestly, with the current build right now, it doesn't even look that bad. We went ahead and threw the stock taillights on the FRS right over here and swapped out the VLANs onto the white FRS. And I'm gonna explain everything, but let's go ahead and see if these even work. So while I was editing this video, I realized that I didn't really give you guys a good enough explanation on why we're swapping out the taillights on the red FRS to the white FRS. And the reason pretty much is we are getting rid of the red FRS. Now what I mean by that is we are taking all the mods off the red FRS and transferring them over to the white FRS for a couple of different reasons. Now first things first, I've invested a lot of money into this white FRS, the whole rebuild series, rebuilding everything to the way I like it, perfecting the interior, and I have a lot of more parts that I haven't even shown you guys that are sitting in the garage for this white FRS that we're going to be installing. And while this rebuild was going on, I got a pretty good offer on the red FRS bone stock. There's a website that actually wants to buy the FRS for a decent price, and right now I'm sitting with two of the same cars. I might as well go ahead and get rid of one of them. Now, I took a lot of time to go ahead and think about this decision. The white FRS still has a long way to go, and we're still going to be making a ton of different videos, and the end goal is pretty much to do what we said we were going to do in episode 1, which is to build one of the cleanest FRS BRZ or 86s there is. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be extremely confused, but I'm just going to say trust the process. In a couple of videos down the line, once the car is finally done, it is going to be pretty sick. So that's the main reason why we're transferring the taillights over, but we're going to be transferring all the rest of the mods over the next couple of videos, so definitely stay tuned for that. But we still got more to do, so let's go ahead and swap out that fourth brake light from the red FRS onto the white one. It is done. So we went ahead and got the fourth brake light installed from that car over onto this car right over here, and then we have the stock taillights in the back. And then the white FRS, we went ahead and transferred over everything. We have the VLAN taillights, and then we also have the fourth brake light down here as well. Now these taillights look very good on this car. They also looked very nice on the red FRS as well, but these taillights right here are the VLAN sequential taillights. They're actually the red and clear version. And then a couple months ago, just before we did the air suspension on that car, we went ahead and tinted the middle part of this headlight right over here to a smoked blacked out film to kind of go ahead and match the rest of the car. And I think it looks pretty cool. If you guys do get VLANs, this right here is great. You'll have the red outline with a clear middle, and then you can just go ahead and smoke it out just like I did. And the fourth brake light right over here, we also got this in clear, but I added some tint film on top of this to smoke it out, and I think this looks very nice as well. Run that back, champion. So the difference between the brake light that I installed on the white FRS and this red FRS right over here, as you guys just saw, whenever I press the brakes, the brake light comes on. The one that I had on this previously always had a constant DRL going on. I'm not sure if this one also had that and it's broken or anything like that, but the one we just transferred onto the white one always has that DRL on, and this one only lights up when we press on the brakes. Now that it's complete though, even though my car is extremely dirty right now, the setup that I have on the car with the clear fourth brake light and the stock taillights and all the additional mods that I do have on the car, the rear end doesn't look that bad. I was really expecting this car to look horrible, but I actually don't mind the setup. Don't get me wrong, the setup that I have on the white FRS right now is much better, but this isn't too bad. So as you guys can see, the difference between the brake lights is that this one has the DRL that is always on, and then the other one doesn't have this piece right here where the DRL is always on. I think this looks better. I think this complements the rear end better, and in the nighttime just makes the whole back end of the car much more aggressive looking. And if this car already had the one that was working, I would have kept it because these two are pretty much the exact same thing. I could have just tinted over it and then kept that one on the car. Now we still have one more thing we need to transfer over from the rear end on the car to this car right over here, which is going to be the roof visor that I have right over here. I think I installed this about a year or so ago, and that's going to go onto this back end, which is going to make it a bit more aggressive, especially with the fourth brake light and the taillights. So we're going to swap this over to this. So I ended up removing the roof spoiler on this car right over here, and something I didn't realize is when we went ahead and got the roof wrap, my visor was already on the car, and the shop that went ahead and wrapped my roof cut corners and decided to not wrap this part right over here. So now we have a hint of red just showing outside the roof wrap. In my opinion, it looks really ugly, and I think whoever owns this car next probably should go ahead and rewrap the roof, or if you can, just wrap this part right over here. I'm not sure if that's possible, but that's something I just figured out. And this piece right over here had a lot of adhesion on it that I had to remove, which probably took me closer to 30 to 45 minutes. So I went ahead and removed everything, and now we're gonna apply the new tape, and then we're gonna go ahead and install it onto this car. So we got the roof visor on and it is all done. The roof visor is a very great way to go ahead and make the back end of the car a little bit more aggressive. And with all the mods that we did today, it definitely is tying in the rear end of this car a lot better than what it was before. So everything is coming together very nicely. We got the taillights on the car, we got the fourth brake light, we got the roof visor, and everything is starting to look better. Now, I also don't want to create a replica of this car right over here. I want to create something that's better than this car because we are going for a very clean build, and there is still more for the trunk coming. This isn't going to be the end of the rear end of this car. We're definitely going to be coming back to the rear end in later videos from now. Also, in the background, you guys might be able to see the bumper off from the front. That is a little bit of a spoiler for the next video. But if you guys enjoyed today's video at all, at any point in time, definitely hit this video with a like. Don't forget to scroll down below and hit the subscribe button. And I will see you guys all in the next video.
Stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la.